Good evening, LTL Nation. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Anita and you're watching Life Talks Life. Today we are going to tackle a very important topic. A topic that I like to call humanity's emotional disease number 1. It's a tiny 4-letter word, very, very small, yet it governs the life of all humanity. We are talking about fear. Now, first we would like to distinguish one thing. There are 2 types of fear. Fear, above all, is our natural protection mechanism. It provides us with security. When we are in danger, it helps us to run away, the so-called fight or flight modus. Without it, humanity would have not survived. The second type of fear, and that's the one I really want to talk with you about tonight, it's the fear that we create in our minds. Our fear is created through our thoughts, which in effect, again, cause emotions. Statistics have proven that 63% of the fears that people are having never happen. 30% of those fears are based on the past and cannot be changed. 90% of all the fears we are having are fears that are really so small and completely not important. Yet how is it possible that we are suffering so much from fear? Most above all, people are fearing fear of death, fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of our own power that we are having. We are born into a fear-based culture. We have fear of everything. Our parents, as well, they tried to give us the best that they could, but they fed us with a lot of fears that they had from themselves, from their own upbringing and conditioning. When we turn on the news, we are faced with fear of terrorism, fear of the next war that might break out, fear of the next diseases that might occur. Really, with all those news and all these informations and all those fears we are having, I wonder how we actually sleep at night. Because who guarantees you're going to wake up in the morning? Now we gotta understand one thing. Fear is important, as I mentioned in the beginning of our talk, and we have to have it in our life in order to survive. But the one thing we got to do with our self-created fear, we cannot run away from them. We cannot hide from them. And even if we try to do that, it's going to catch up with us. But what we can do is create a relationship with our fear. Because our fears are actually a counselor. They're not our enemy. They're a counselor. Why? Because they're showing us our insecurities. They're showing us what we need to work on. When we have a fear of something, we gotta ask ourselves, why do I have that fear? Where does it come from? Is it actually serving me? If we see our fear as a counselor, and if we see our fear as a friend and create a relationship with it, we will be able to attack it directly. Because our fear can either stop us or unleash the beast in us. And when I say unleash the beast in us, I mean it can really help us to accelerate in life and do whatever we want to do. It is so important that we work with it. We can't live without it. It's simply there. It's natural. But we gotta learn how to work with it, how to tackle it. Fear, and you might have heard that quote, is false evidence appearing real. That means you're projecting something either from past experiences or from something that we have created in our mind into the future. It hasn't happened. It might never happen, as statistics show, yet we still fear it so much. There are a couple of fears that are very natural, but usually what happens with fears, we are fearing things that we cannot control. If we are confident in our abilities, that no matter what happens to us in life that we are afraid of, then we will be able to confront it directly and to work with it. Confidence comes from the Latin word confidere and means to trust. So if we don't trust ourselves, that no matter what happens, we can handle it and we can deal with it, then how are we going to really deal with our fears and to work with them? I asked the other day a couple of people on Facebook what their biggest fears are. And there was really all kind of answers, from fear to death, fear of changing the jobs, fear of people judging them. We have so many fears of so many things, but we gotta ask ourselves, what is the worst that can happen? And what is the best that can happen in that case? Me personally, for example, and it sounds maybe silly to you, I am scared of sharks. Yet I confronted my fear, because this fear of sharks really cost me a lot of beautiful life experiences. I wasn't able to go deep into the sea, to dive, to swim without thinking of this Jaws music, dum 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 dum. So what did I do? I went and did a scuba diving course. I went surfing into the deep, deep ocean. And yes, my fear subconsciously was always there, and my mind was talking in the back and telling me, maybe there is a shark, maybe there is a shark. Yet I still did it. Because the way I spoke to my subconscious mind in that sense was, I was saying, yes, there might be one, but if there is one, then I will be able to handle it when it comes to that situation or not. It is a huge fear, it's almost a phobia. But if we convince ourselves that we can handle it, because by the end of the day, if it happens, it will happen. And in that moment, you will know what to do in that situation. Of course, having a shark in the water is a life-threatening situation. So, of course, it's definitely a flight or fight modus if it's possible. But if we are talking about the regular fears that we are having, fear of judgment, fear of failure, fear of what other people think of us, then this is something we can truly work with. The second biggest fear of humanity after death is public speaking. Yet people like me, Life Talks Live, like a lot of amazing, amazing motivational speakers out there, go really on a daily basis on that stage. And that doesn't mean we are not scared of talking in front of hundreds of people or talking in front of an audience that's watching and perhaps judging us. That just means that we are able to deal with it. Because the worst thing that can happen is that maybe someone might not agree with our opinion, and that's okay because it's an exchange of opinion. There are 4 ways I'd like to share with you on how you can really tackle your fears and create a relationship with it. Because it is your bodyguard, it is there to protect you. Even your self-created fear have subconsciously a reason why they're there, and this is for you, in your sense, to protect you. And this bodyguard can protect you, but it should not govern your every single move in life. The first thing that you can do that really works is practice mindfulness. Really live and be in the present moment. Fear cannot exist there. Fear usually comes really from the past, which is a projection to the present moment, or from the present moment, something that you fear that might come in the future. When you are in the moment and you practice it and you are really fully there with yourself, fear will disappear. It might be there in the back of your mind, still trying to get through you because it's used to do that. But you can talk to it and you can tell it, I know you're there, I appreciate you, but I'll do it anyway. And you can do that through meditation, through yoga, through a piece of music, through anything that helps you being present in the moment and not moving your thoughts back and forth. The second way is starve your fear. Nothing has really power over you unless you give it power. The more you feed your fears, the bigger they grow, which is obviously common sense. But when you don't feed your fear with information and emotions and thoughts, it will starve, it will become smaller, smaller and smaller. And in that case, you will get your power back and you will be able to deal with it. The third thing that I would like to tell you is another thing that we humans tend to do so many times, and I'm guilty as well, is overthinking. It is really something that comes from nowhere and is just there. We overthink so many things. It sometimes feels like there is a little devil and a little angel sitting on our shoulders and talking to us. For example, if we would like to take on an enterprise that we have not yet done and that we are scared of, the angel says, you can do it, you can do it. You will be able to handle it. The devil says, no, what if you fail? What if you can't do it? So if you are able to do that and manage that for yourself and shut down these little voices left and right on your shoulders, you'll be able to go ahead and to move forward with it. And another thing as well, which is very, very important, is you really have to stop justifying your behavior. Fear has a way of justifying itself. When we are scared of doing something, we usually tend to talk to people and say things like, I will never amount to anything in life, so I better not even try it. Or I will never be an amazing speaker, so I will not even go and try and do that for myself. But this is a justification that you have created. It doesn't mean it's true, and it doesn't mean it's the reality. Practice those 4 steps. They are very simple. If you do that every single day, you will realize that the relationship that you have created with your fear has completely changed. And you can look at it in the same way that you look at relationships that you have with other people. If you want to maintain a healthy and good relationship that serves you and your purposes and your life, you have to work towards it. So it's the same way with your fears. Create a relationship. Don't let those 4 tiny letters really create a life for you that you do not want or that you are scared of. Because by the end of the day, all that matters is that you can look back at your life and say, yes, I was scared, but I've done it anyways. So thank you very, very much for taking the time on a Friday evening and listening to my talk. Please like and share our videos. Leave your comments down below. I love to hear what you have to say about the topic. Visit us on our social media pages, lifetalkslife.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram account. Tune in tomorrow as Omar and Dunya are tackling our topic. I have a beautiful evening with you tonight, and I hope you're going to have the same. God bless you. I'll see you next week. Goodbye.